KUCR NAMM 2019 here at the Anaheim Convention Center. We're here with Mike Massons. Do I have that correct?
That's right. Yeah.
With Headrush. Now, what is Headrush?
Sure. So Headrush is the world's first standalone amp simulator, multi-effects processor with a quad-core internal processor and a touchscreen interface. So the primary difference between what we do in this category and everyone else is we run a higher processing power, and our interface is way more intuitive because we have a touchscreen.
And this is, of course, intended for guitars, and this is a pedal board layout here. And so, how does the device work?
Sure. So, we obviously have several presets and things like that. So, if you're not really wanting to create a rig or a preset yourself, you can just dive in and find something that's suiting your interest or your taste in music. But if you wanted to create something from the ground up, it's really fast and easy compared to everything else that's out there. And I'll show you. I can give you a demonstration if you'd like. Sure. So we can create a new rig just by accessing the main menu up here, and we can go to new rig, and I'll empty it. Okay, good. So we have 11 empty blocks to choose from, and when you touch one of the blocks, it's going to give you a macro menu of all the different options on board. So if I select amps, it's going to give me all the different amp selections that we have currently. And when you make an amp selection, it automatically pairs it with a complementary cabinet. Now you can choose to change that if you like just by double tapping, and it's going to access a different cab menu with all the different options on board. You can also change the mic type and the angle of the microphone, so on or off axis. And then you can just continue to build your signal path the same way you would on the floor. So you imagine in any order. Well, if you imagine your input, the way that the routing goes, there's the input, and it runs through to the output block. So guitar in, out to the speaker, or the front of the house, or what have you. So, for instance, if I wanted to add some distortion or overdrive, I can just make a selection. Maybe some reverb or delay or phaser or flange, something like that. Maybe a vibrato would be nice. And what's great about this is I can, in real time, move this and see what it looks like.
Okay, I get it. Thank you for showing it.
Absolutely. So what's really cool is you can play a chord or maybe loop just a phrase or something, and then you could choose to put it in front of the amplifier or behind the amplifier, or you could even separate the head and the cab and place it in the center in a virtual effects loop spot. So you really can hear the variance in tone the same way you would if it was in real life with real gear.
A lot of possibilities there for easy reconstruction of the order and selection of different devices.
It really is. And for a lot of people, even that might not have a lot of experience playing around with pedals, like maybe they live in a more of a plug-in environment, that's what they've always known. This can actually teach you a lot about signal path creation, how you can tone shape and sound design, because you can move things around so quickly and easily right on the hardware device.
I'm assuming a lot of the effects devices that you have in your inventory here are based on famous other devices.
Right, and you could see that when you double tap one. Obviously, you can see what we're going after here.
Sure.
Yeah, they're all modeled off of kind of the greatest hits of effects over the years, but we also have a lot of proprietary things in here too. Like we have some different filtering and just kind of some neat things on board that you might not necessarily see just out on the market. But basically everything that you would expect. It's 2019. Guitar players, we all know it, maybe we don't. We're extremely spoiled. We have high expectations. And so we try to fulfill all those expectations by having all the cool stuff inside the box, and we absolutely do, and we're constantly expanding on that.
Could you bring in your own pedal and connect it with this with the Headrush Pedalboard?
Absolutely. So we do have an effects loop on back, and it's really fast to do that. You just grab an effects loop block, and then you can place that anywhere you want in the signal path. So for instance, if you're plugging in your own overdrive pedal, you could put it in front of the signal, or maybe you have something that's more of like a time-based effect. You want to put it after the signal or into the effects loop. You can absolutely do that. And then you just assign this to a preset, or assign this to a switch, and you can just turn it on and off So you still are controlling everything from the pedal board, not having to tap dance between two different sources or more.
So is it future proof in the sense that you're updating this device?
Absolutely. So we launched this in winter NAMM 2017, and since then we've done several firmware updates, including our current firmware update, which was a highly anticipated 2.0. But it's definitely something that we continue to support. This isn't something that you're just going to pick up and the sale ends at the door kind of thing. This is definitely more of like a lifestyle product in terms of, we're constantly going to support this and just continue to grow the product as we develop it.
Now, there are some guitar players who really don't want to think all that much. Do you have presets that make it instantly appealable to them?
Absolutely. So when you purchase the item, when you get it back home, you plug in, you're going to have pretty much all your greatest hits of tone, somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 sounds under your feet to choose from. And what's cool is the way that we segregate those so they're easy to go through and find. If you wanted to take a look here, I'll show you.
Sure.
Yeah. So you can hold down for view and go into our set list mode, and you can see all rigs. It might be easier to read up here, actually. I'll show you. So ampy tones, bass tones. This works for bass guitar as well. Clean tones, crunchy tones, etc., etc. And you can store and create your own set list too, based on the gig that you're playing this week or next week, or whatever you're doing with your friends or your band or what have you, and you can recall those at any given time.
Do you have some that would suggest certain guitar players?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the names definitely allude to certain guitar players and certain songs.
Could we see some?
Yeah, sure. So I'll go ahead and go to all rigs here, and you can see Sweet Home Bro.
Sure,
yeah, Sandman.
I don't get it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Purple Solo. I can't imagine who that might be.
I can't either.
Yeah. So a lot of them are quirky and fun. We try to have fun with it. Some of them you have to you have to dig a little bit deeper to figure it out. But yeah, for the most part.
So is this the product that's offered by Headrush?
Well, this is the flagship product. This is the one that started it all, and since then we've noticed that we have a customer base that doesn't necessarily need the larger pedal board with integrated expression pedal and all the switching. So what we came out with was our smaller variation, which is the Gigboard. So first thing I'll tell you what the Gigboard is not. The Gigboard is not a mini, it's not a junior, a baby, a light, an LT. It is a full-featured Headrush, has all the same goodies that you'll find inside the full board, just a smaller package, fewer foot switches, and no integrated expression pedal. Other than that, you're getting all the same amps, cabs, models, presets, everything. So one thing we did add to this, which makes it really cool and it speaks to a little bit different end user, a little bit different player, is external amp control. So now you can patch this in with a more traditional amplifier, and you can do all your channel switching, change all the effects on your amp just by touching a foot switch. So you can actually create scenes where you're changing your channel on your amp, turning your reverb on and off, and firing effects off on the Headrush, all from the Headrush. So no more tap dancing all over the place.
Okay, and if you wanted an expression pedal, you could add one.
Absolutely, yeah. You can buy any expression pedal that your favorite one, or if you already have one, just patch it into the back. What's great about it is the presets that already have, say, like a wah or a volume pedal or whammy, what have you. It recognizes whether there's an expression pedal in or not. So it will kind of mute those, if you will, and that way it's not messing up your tone. But then when you engage the expression pedal, they're active and they're ready to go.
Okay. What are the price points on this and your flagship model?
Sure. So on the flagship, the pedal board, that's $9.99 US MAP. And then on the Gigboard, it's $649 US MAP.
These are very, very competitive prices.
They really are, especially with the power and the flexibility and the intuitive nature of the control. But, you wouldn't be able to use these if we didn't have a way to kind of amplify them. And so one of the things that we thought was really important was to expand on the line by coming out with our FR line.
Okay.
So these are full range, flat response powered speakers that are designed specifically for guitar and bass modeling amplification. We started actually with the larger model, which is the FR 112. It's a two-way 12-inch powered speaker, has a 12-inch low-frequency driver and a 1.25-inch high-frequency driver. And it weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of 32 pounds, but it puts out 2,000 watts of power. And that's been a huge hit, you know, because it works with us or it works with everyone else, right? $299 map on that, which is
kind of unbelievable.
Kind of unbelievable, yeah. So because of the success of that and because of the request of having a more scaled down variation of that product, we decided to leash out the 8-inch version. So this is brand new for NAMM, brand new for 2019. This is the FR 108. So this is a two-way 8-inch powered speaker designed specifically for guitar and bass modeling. You have an 8-inch low-frequency driver, 1.25-inch high-frequency driver, and the same interface on the back. So you have two combo jack inputs on the back for XLR or line with individual gain control. And you also have a line out. So you can run an XLR direct to front of house, or you could daisy chain multiple units together or send a signal to something else entirely, you know, if that's what you wanted or needed to do. Each unit also has its own contour switch, which is, I kind of call it the loud button, because what it does, it doesn't scoop the mids, but it just enhances the low and high, so it gives you a little bit more body to the tone when you're at a low volume level. And we also have a ground lift on this too, so it eliminates like a 60 cycle hum.
Thanks for thinking of that.
Yeah, well, we thought it was an important feature to add because you never know what kind of venue the power's going to have, you know, when you walk into a club or whatever. So we've gotten a lot of, you know, good commendations on that. Everybody seems to love that really well.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, Mike Mashins of Headrush. Very interesting product line. If people want more information, where can they go online?
Absolutely. Please visit us at headrushfx.com. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. NAMM 2019 KUCR.